I will ask board member Rick Day if he will open our meeting with a prayer, and we will then say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight to give you the glory and the honor as always. We ask that you be with each and every person here and that your will be done. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now enter the public comment session of our meeting. Just as a reminder, the public comments will be limited to 30 minutes. Each speaker will state their name and precinct, and they will have at least 3 minutes to speak, or have 3 minutes to speak. Promotion of candidates, commercial interest, or political parties shall be prohibited. First is Alan Longman.
Hello, my name is Alan Longman. I'm from Bond Level, whatever precinct that is. I'm calling upon the complaints that I have filed, both state and to Hartnett County. Tomorrow I pick up my wife in Raleigh. We go to the Superior Court and we'll be doing the filing since the state has not contacted me. And the lawyer said that we should do that. Later in the week, we'll meet with the Attorney General and discuss the problems, since no one has addressed what was said. So until whatever decisions you make will not matter, the courts will have to determine that at some other time. Thank you.
Next is it Craig Martin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm Craig Martin in the Central Livingston Precinct. I'm here today to speak against the possible precinct merger. It's included on the agenda today. You may hear some people come today and speak about why they are opposed to it, why and how it may create confusion and could potentially deter individuals from voting, or how there's not evidence or data supporting the need to do these precinct mergers. But my main concern is not only the why, but the why now. Honestly, I've been watching these meetings online, and it's just hard to ignore the fact that what this board is doing seems to fall lock in step with what Raleigh's doing, with what other boards are doing across this state. And it all happened a couple months ago. It's when that change started. And it's just hard now to have any trust or faith that what you're doing is in the best interest of Hartnett County or the residents of Hartnett County. And instead, it just seems like you're following orders from Raleigh and doing what you're told instead of doing what's best for us. So I just really ask moving forward, whenever any decisions are made, that you really try to demonstrate why you're doing it for the people of Hartnett, and don't expect us to trust or give any deference to your judgment.
Thank you. Rebecca Brock.
Good evening, board and staff. Rebecca Brock. I just wanted to give some comments on the upcoming agenda. I'm very happy to see that you're considering making the change for Overhills High to the Anderson Creek Fire Department. Not because I think it's a better place, but because I think that we ought to minimize our pop-up early voting places. And by pop-up, I mean they close, and that the precinct has to move, the voting has to move to a different precinct location, and that would have had to occurred if you not change Overhills High to be a permanent polling place at Anderson Creek Fire Department. So I'm thrilled about that. the possible merges, this board and the staff did an extensive, exhaustive, public review of mergers and divisions this last year, and it was very well attended by the public, and the merging between Lillington and Bowie's Creek, as well as the Aversboro's precincts, was not well received. So that in light of that past public comment and the time that you're considering it, I ask that you wait until you'll have your time in 2027 after the 2026 election, because any changes now could be quite confusing. Also, on your voting here, on your agenda is election costs, so I'm anxious to see what you're talking about that. And that because what we were told by staff and approved by the commissioners was a budget that included 5 early voting sites, as well as the staff to go with it. So I think you guys are in good shape. I think money is obviously a concern for any county, but it's not as high as being access to voting is, in my mind. And I think you've covered that with 5 early voting sites. So just curious about that. But thank you for putting the Anderson Creek Fire Department as the precinct polling location.
Thank you. Tanya, I can't read your last name. Tanya? Not here.
Tanya White Anderson.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a sign-in roster, but I'll speak anyway, just generally and sweet. First of all, good evening, everybody. Basically, as Whitman Records has stated.
Could you state your name? And
Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Ms. Tanya White Anderson.
Okay, go ahead.
You ready?
Good.
Okay. As Ms. Rebecca has stipulated, and basically everyone, it will be a disaster, not only just for a particular affiliation, it will be a disaster for all. So by you all moving and making these adjustments, again, whatever you plan or whatever they're asking you, the monkey see, monkey do, is more or less how you say, it's repercussions. And you all, I appreciate what you all is doing as far as moving and so forth, but let's just start looking, being mindful for the community and what is better, set or for us to be able to communicate within the people. But again, as it said before, the public wasn't pleased, and I think we just need to keep it at that point. So if you all can just be kind and within your heart to just leave everything alone, and let's get through this next election, and as Ms. Rebecca said, focus on 2027. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank Farmer.
I'm not speaking.
Thank you. I'm Frank Farmer, and I'm with the sister precinct of Central Lillington, which is the Bowie's Creek. So I am in fact echoing one sentence, I think, of what Craig Martin indicated, which is we don't want to have the merger of those 2 precincts at this time. From my perspective, I in fact assumed that the discussion here tonight would involve only a consideration of future after the 2026 election. So I'll be interested in hearing the discussion following the public comment. As far as my own view of the future of the merger, potential merger, I do feel that it would benefit Harnett County to have actually more precincts than even with the expansion on Anderson Creek area. it would be helpful to have more precincts than we have now. I'll look at Wake County, for example, and they have a ratio of about 3,800 registered voters for each precinct, whereas ours in Harnett is about 6,900 per precinct. So I support eventually considering the rate of growth in Harnett, looking for more precincts. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment session. Now we need to approve the minutes of our last meeting. You have copies?
I'll make a motion we approve them.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye, motion's carried. In our old business, we need to take another formal vote on Western Harnett to Benhaven Community Center to Overhills to Anderson Creek as a permanent election day voting site.
Correct. The last board meeting, the board discussed using those sites as early voting sites, but we didn't officially vote to move the election day sites to those locations as well. So this is for election day.
Is there a motion to move the election day voting site from Western Harnett High School to Benhaven Community Center and move from Overhills High to Anderson Creek Fire Department? Is there a motion?
I make the motion.
Is there a second?
This is just Overhills to Anderson Creek.
And Western Harnett to Benhaven?
I don't want, can we do them separately?
Sure.
Because we're using Benhaven and Anderson Creek for early voting locations.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted clarification on that. But we can do
Yeah.
them separate.
Well, I make a motion we move Western Park to Benhaven Community Center.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm not sure that Benhaven's gonna be able to handle the Western Harnett. I just think that, I don't think that's a great idea. Yeah, I just, I think there's gonna be a lot of voter confusion anyway with the early voting. I guess I'm not being very articulate. But and I've also heard feedback from people that they do want to keep the election day voting at Western Harnett because they just feel like it's gonna work better. So that's what I have to say about that.
Close the discussion.
Mine, for overall for voting, anytime you start moving things, I mean, I heard you speak of later, but anytime you start moving things, it causes mass confusion. So I would have liked to have had what we did before, when we went out into the community and let them speak. So I'm not really for it. I'm not for it.
Close the discussion.
Excuse me, Danny. Could everybody move their microphones closer? We can't hear
You
you.
can't?
Or either speak up.
Yeah, just move those in.
Yeah.
Can you
I
hear
mean, we
me?
can hear everything but your voices.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? As many being in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Many opposed to the motion, please say no.
No.
Tie vote. The chair will vote in the affirmative. The motion is carried. There is a motion to move the voting site from Overhills High School to Anderson Creek Fire Department.
Yes, I'll make a motion, we move over Hills High to Anderson Creek Fire Department.
Is there a second?
That's second.
Any discussion?
My thoughts remain the same. As anytime you start moving it, if there's time to build the momentum with the public, they're the ones that are voting. We should give them every opportunity instead of kind of rushing this through. So it's a no for me whenever you make a motion. You made it already.
Further discussion? As many in favor of the motion, please say aye. As many opposed to the motion, please say nay.
Nay.
Motion is tie vote. The chair votes in the affirmative. The motion is carried. And now discuss the possible precinct mergers with Lillington and Neals Creek and East and West Avertsboro. Madam Director.
All right, so I again wanted just clarification on this. The previous board did do several outreach events where we did get public input on possible merging and splitting of precincts. They voted to split Anderson Creek and Barbecue, but not to merge any other precincts. Since the new board has taken on, I've heard some talk about maybe wanting to look at this. But in looking at this, we have a very short time frame. So if the board were to want to merge, we would have to merge and get approval by the state board so that I can notify the voters by January 17th, which makes it a really short time frame. So I just wanted clarification tonight. Is this something that anybody's interested or not interested?
Any questions?
And then just one other point of clarification, if Neals Creek and Lillington were to be merged, the Commons area would be an early voting site and the Election Day site. If East and West Avertsboro were to be merged, of the two sites, the Dunn Community Building is the most accessible. But again, it's completely up to the board. Just let me know.
So you say January 17th, is that for the primary?
For the primary election.
And the general election would be later?
It would be a later date.
Deadline.
I personally would not recommend making a change between a primary and a general election. So I feel like if the board wants to do this, we should either do it now or in 2027.
I kind of agree that maybe we need to wait till 2027. Just speaking out loud, my thoughts, because of, I know it's something we want to do, to save costs. But I don't want to see a lot of confusion with that coming election.
I agree.
I don't think we've got enough time.
What's our
I don't think enough time between now and January 17th. We've got
Correct.
the holidays in there, and there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
I just say, let's
So
just,
we can study it, get the figures together, cost, and then maybe spring.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we had that clarification.
approached this one time,
Mhm.
and y'all had a lot of opposition to it, so.
So
It's still.
is it the pleasure of the board to postpone any decision on this or discussion till spring,
Yes.
sometime March, April?
Consensus.
Is that agreement? All right. And now we have ballot on demand. Madam Director.
All right, so I have, everybody has included in their pack, again, the quote for the ballot on demand system, as well as their flyer and my, for lack of a better word, price analysis as far as what it costs for the printing of ballots and the workers assigned to the ballot table, comparing that to the actual ballot on demand cost. I think for those of you that have seen the ballot on demand, it's a really good system. It will help, not just speed up the process by having the voter check in and get their ballot at one station, but it also offsets the cost of purchasing the ballots and the fact that it eliminates mistakes with giving the wrong ballot out to voters because it prints them individually as the voter checks in. So the quote that you have before you is for 5 early voting locations. Again, the upfront cost is $83,000. But if you have 3 elections within a year, it can essentially pay for itself within a year when you start factoring the ballot cost and staffing costs of the amount of workers that would typically work at a ballot table. And then once we get through that initial upfront cost, the yearly maintenance is $14,000. And again, that would be offset in the price per ballot that we're saving for not having to purchase 100+% of the ballot stock. Now, I would like to have a decision on this today if possible. In order to get this in by the primary election, we would definitely need to make sure we get commissioner approval because this has not been budgeted sometime in their January meeting. So again, we don't have a large amount of time to get this done prior to the primary. If we don't feel like we have that amount of time or you guys need more time to think about it, then it's something we could bring back up during the general election. But the primary is when we have the most number of ballot styles, and this is when I think it's the most important to have.
I have a question, if I may, Mr. Chairman, to the director. I'm looking at your cost of the election, and you got election workers now. If we went with ballot on demand, how many, is this everybody? Is this what you propose you would save, $229,000?
So the election cost is a little bit different. What I'm looking at is where it has the primary. So essentially, we always try to make sure we have 2 workers assigned to the ballot table. So 2 workers assigned to the ballot table for the 17 days of early voting is about $14,000. And so for 5 sites, my math is not mathing on here, but times that by 5 per site.
70,000.
Yeah, no, my math is not right on the sheet.
Well, I didn't want to call you out on it.
It is okay, you can call me out on it. My math is not mathing. But it's $14,000 per site, so then you would multiply that by 5 sites.
But how much actual labor? You still got to have somebody there with the ballot on demand, so.
But it would be the person at the check-in station. So when they come in to state their name and address, they'll look them up on the computer and they'll print the ATV form and then the ballot will print.
So
So that one person would be.
So we could have a considerable savings in not only printing ballots, but
But in
also
the poll worker fund, correct.
If we're going to go with this, I mean, I look like I see where it would pay for itself in probably 3 years.
Correct.
And then sorry.
No, she just got to be able to sell this to the Board of Commissioners with her facts and figures, because I mean, I'm trying to look at your cost here, and I really need to
And are you also saying that you'd save the 19,000 for 40?
Well, 19,000 is what it cost us for the ballot, so we wouldn't save that whole 20,000, but it would be about 75% of that.
So you just have to buy the blank ones.
Blank paper.
So
It's stock paper, so.
So it's not a special sort of form that you have to buy. And how long do these machines last?
I think, I have to get back to you on that, but I believe they say about the same as like the voting machines. I want to say they're good for about 10 years and then they usually, but they do the maintenance every year for the software and stuff. So as long as the printer's still functioning and the laptops are updated, it should work for 10 plus years.
So
Correct.
So they'll come here and do the maintenance, or you guys, the office?
They do the maintenance yearly for the software program and
that's
everything.
incorporated?
And they'll come and do the training to train us on it, and then we will train the poll workers. The main reason why we want to use it for early voting is because early voting is when they have all those ballot styles. So as you can see during this 2024 primary, we had 44 ballot styles. On election day, they don't have 44 at any one site. They only have what's for that site. So they could have between 3 to 4, maybe 5 ballot styles. But early voting is where you want to make sure we eliminate those mistakes where if the laptop says they're ballot 13 and then the poll worker accidentally pulls a 31, you do that enough times and then you have a new election because of errors.
Well, just the workers would be 70,000 and then, if you say 15,000 for the ballots, you save, that's 85,000, you're saving basically the cost of the machines in the first year.
How many counties in the state are using this?
I know, I think when she came and did the presentation, I think she was saying there was at least 10 or 11 right now. So because of the cost, a lot of the first counties to start using this program were larger counties. So Wake County, Mecklenburg, those big counties are the ones that kind of started this. Buncombe County, I know, uses it. But as they've seen the cost savings and then the potential savings with errors, a lot of other smaller counties have jumped on this as well.
Do you think, not that I don't think you're capable, so don't take it this way, but do you think you could get the rep to come here to talk before? Because I know they're gonna have a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So to explain it,
Yeah. And we did
the more
have,
technical aspects of it and why.
yeah,
it's
they
good.
came and did a presentation here when we first had them out. I don't think we had a lot of people come out. I know some of the party chairs came out and viewed it. I think we had a few public that came out to see it. Some of the board members were able to come too. So, but yeah, they'll definitely be able to do that.
You're talking about doing this in the primary, which is in March.
Correct.
And what is the deadline for if the county commissioners give us some money? If they don't vote in January, maybe, or February, then what
If
is the
they
deadline?
voted, so I said January because early voting begins in February. I think we only need, once we get this contract signed, I think Jennifer said they can get in here and get us trained and set up within a couple of weeks. She's the
sorry, Marge.
she's the representative with Colonel-elect.
Oh,
She's our rep. So it wouldn't take them long to get the equipment here. The longest part is just getting the approval of the money and then the contracts.
And is the ultimate goal to go to this system on election day too?
That's something that we could definitely look at, but I think the biggest cost savings is going to be during early voting. I think buying the equipment to staff to supply all 15 precincts, I don't think you're going to have as much of a savings with there. But if, say for example, this has never happened in Harnett, but a precinct on election day runs out of ballots, we could print those ballots in our office and have them to them within a matter of minutes, as opposed to trying to reach out to the vendor and get, that's not going to happen in a day. So even though we wouldn't have it at election day, we would still have it to use in our office in the case there was an election day emergency and we had to print ballots.
Well, that has happened. I know once before, they ran out of ballots in Angier. Any other questions?
Just one about, wouldn't this be also more voter integrity, using this ballot on demand?
I would say so, because they are, they know they're getting the right ballot style. When you go to the ballot table and you've got people looking at the numbers, they have barcode scanners to verify that they're giving the right ballot number, but a lot of people are very suspicious of the barcode scanners and what they're actually scanning, when all they're doing is scanning that this is a ballot 1 and I'm giving you a ballot 1. But a lot of times with technology, when the batteries die and the poll workers want to just view that, we want to avoid those kind of errors. With this, as soon as they hit vote, it's going to print that ballot out. It's going to be that ballot for that voter, and it's just going to cut down on any of those possible errors.
I'm in agreement to go with it. I think the technology's here. We need to move along.
Quick question. The training is, I saw what they did here, but I'm assuming it'll be a comprehensive
Yes.
training in a C1, D1 or type like they were doing here.
Yeah, they would come in, they would train the staff. They would train us on how to do that. I think they would also be willing to come to our poll worker training, but our goal would be to have them train us so that we can train them at poll worker training. Because if they do multiple trainings, it's going to add to that cost.
The way it would work, if you go into a polling place and you present yourself to vote, you state your name and address, the people would repeat it back, you would look up on the computer, yeah, you're properly registered, and they would just hit a button on the computer and it would spit it out? Is that what it would do? And you would eliminate those two people on the other end altogether?
And I know sometimes when you go to a site that's busy, there's a line at the check-in, but sometimes there's also a line at the ballot table. And so there's a lot of confusion and people, just kind of standing there. This would have them all in one location. They would sign the fee, they'd get their ballot, they'd go straight to the booth and vote. So with that, we would also be able to possibly have more check-ins and kind of keep that process moving faster.
So it's possible to have more than one check-in station?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The quote allows for 5 check-in stations right now.
So that'd be one for each early voting center?
Well, that would be 5 for each site, so I think it was a quote for
20.
Yeah.
You have a backup in case.
10 laptops.
The backup would be paper ballots, and we would still have, we wouldn't have an excessive number of ballots, but we would still have a limited number of supply there, just in case. We always have emergency backup procedures. We have paper poll books, paper ATVs, and we would still have a stock of ballots there in the event something went down. So it would not stop the voting process.
and what is the total amount of money you're going to be asking the commissioners for?
So it'll be the 83,000, 83,700.
But if you're saving 85,000, it's pretty much
And the cost savings would offset that? Is that what I'm hearing? In one election?
I think within 1 year.
1 year, we'd save that?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Is there a motion for the board?
Make a motion that we go before the board of commissioners or our director of this board of commissioners presents this.
Is there a second?
One second.
Any discussion? So is it possible to have the representative of this company come back and perhaps invite the commissioners over if they want to come look and see?
Yeah.
And could you relate that to them, that we could have a demonstration here, show how efficient this is, and the cost savings are thus and so? Is that?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, any further discussion? As many being in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. The new position request.
All right, so this is something that went before the admin and the commissioners at the beginning of the fiscal year. Originally, we had requested an election outreach specialist just to have, because of all the increase in the county, increase with the voter registration, as well as the work involved, we kind of wanted to have another position in the office to help offset that, but also somebody who can specifically work with outreach in the community. The commissioners said that they were not forward at the time. They knew that the board was getting ready to change over, and they kind of directed me at the commissioner meeting to wait until the new board takes office and then have a discussion and see how you guys felt about it. After some thinking and considering, I feel like a lot of what the commissioners were not really understanding was the outreach part of it. So I kind of have scaled that back a little bit to have that position just be another election specialist. So we already have 2 election specialists in our office, so this would be an additional, this would be a 3rd election specialist. They can still do outreach items, but they would still be processing registrations, absentees, and other office duties. I've given you in your packet just an example of what I had started to draft up as a justification for this election specialist. And in comparing other counties, a lot of counties seem to have almost an unspoken ratio of 1 election specialist per every 30,000 registered voters. And with us now over 90,000, I feel like having a 3rd specialist would kind of be in line with other counties. So what I'm asking today is just approval from you guys to take this back before the commissioners to see if they will approve the additional position.
Question? Is there a motion?
I make a motion to move forward with this proposal.
Is there a second?
I'll say.
Any discussion? Will the duties can be adjusted?
Correct.
I think one of the problems might be outreach and that kind of thing. Is it needed more in the office, or is it needed more when at rest of people?
Honestly, it's about equal both ways. My selling of it as an outreach, trying to focus on the outreach, is because a lot of outreach is done outside of business hours. So originally this position was going to be working a lot of nights and weekends. But as an election specialist, I can have them trained to do office tasks, and then when we do outreach, we can rotate it out amongst the others. So it's not one person doing a lot of the nights and weekends. We can kind of rotate who does, like, for example, the town festivals. I think Kelly did all of our town festivals this year, but if we have an additional staff person, then Kelly can do one town festival, this person can do another town festival, and kind of rotate that around for
Do
everybody.
you have any figures as to these festivals like Craig Myrtle or whatever it happens to be? How many people are actually registered to vote on those things? You sit there all day,
I think
or
we have some tallies. I don't have any on me right now, but we kind of keep tally of the people who we do contact with at these outreach events. When we do the town festivals, right now, we kind of share a table with the Harnett County government. But because we do see so many people, and the Harnett County has a lot of different things at that table, we're thinking next year doing our own table at the town festivals, separate from the county government, just so that we can have our table focused on elections, especially when we're talking about poll worker recruitment and absentee by mail
is
processes.
the concentration registering people to vote, or what is the, when you go out to a festival?
When we go out, so we try to get people registered, but it's also information. We share out the election information, any early voting schedules if we have them. Precinct changes. We try to recruit poll workers, and then we also explain like absentee by mail processes, board meeting processes. So we get lots of questions at these festivals.
Good.
Will you do voter IDs
Yes.
with this? Another thing, someone had touched base on it, but I want to draw it out more. What's the number of reach events you've done? Like, let's use last year as an example.
I don't have that number right off the top of my head, but I know we've done at least 5 we did at least 5 town festivals. We've done, 3 or 4 church events? 4 church events.
Does an ID event every year. It's fairly large. We stay there for about half a day. And that's usually one of our biggest turnouts.
Could you speak up a little bit? They can't hear what you're saying.
Yes. I know that Dunn usually has an ID event. It's our biggest turnout. And we usually have anywhere from 50 to 60 IDs that go out just in that one day. And we work a whole half day just in Dunn. We've done about 4 churches, one of which we did for one of the commissioners. We have also done all of our public input meetings. That would be part of it as well. And then we do, I would say probably there's 5 to 7 festivals depending. And some of those festivals last more than one day.
So we're looking at already close to 20.
Yeah.
And that's just off the top of our
And
head.
there's more that we could do, given if we had more extra staff to do it. That's what we're doing now.
Do these churches, they request you to be there?
Yes. And at the last festival, I had 3 people come up to me and said that they will be giving us a call in the new year to have us come out to do a couple events for them as well.
I had two questions. Would this person also be able to do mat team work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The second question is, would this reduce the number of temporaries you have to hire?
Possibly, yes. Because then we would have another person in the office during the election time to rotate with.
Thank you.
And into the summertime, say from April to October, what would this person do?
They would do the same thing that what others are doing. So there's always registrations. We always get hundreds of DMV registrations, in a week. Because every time you go to update your license, they send us a file with the registration information as well. But also, on top of everything else, list maintenance, removals of deceased and felons, and then maintenance in the office, the warehouse stuff, cleaning and organizing, getting ready for the next election. And then I will say also having an additional person will open us up to be able to rotate and take time off. So for example, we've been short-staffed, and so all of the three of us have already accrued so much comp time through just the municipal elections that you would think at Christmas we could take off, but we got the filing, and then in January we have poll worker training, and then we have the early voting, so there's always something going on that we have to make sure that we keep the office staffed on that. So having the additional would just free up our scheduling in the office as well.
Further discussion? As many in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Russ, is this the registration repair?
Well, it's a good time for it, yeah.
Okay, great.
Claire, we were going to ask if you'd give us a briefing for any interested board member on the the adds and the deletes to the voter registration database and the timings, associated timings. If that could be done maybe in January.
Oh, yes. So, so what the question was, just giving the board information on how we do registrations and different facts about registration processes and list maintenance and things of that nature. And that's something we definitely can do. I feel like, especially since you board members don't see the day-to-day operations, that it would be good just to have that conversation to kind of explain a little bit more in depth those operations. But as far as the registration repair project, we have, so for Hardin County, we were able to get the numbers. We have already repaired a little over 200 registrations through the registration repair project. So I think our number currently is at 1,783 records that still need to be updated with the driver's license or social. So out of 92,000 registered voters, I think that's a pretty good ratio. We've already reviewed all the records that we can and repaired what we can. So the last under 2,000 need to be information that comes from the voters to correct those registrations. And I know the state board just recently sent out a second mailing to these voters as well. That way we can try to get that information prior to the primary, or they may have to vote a provisional ballot. So the registration repair project is something that we're still actively, involved with trying to get corrected. But that brought up the other discussion about just letting you guys have it in January sometime, have a discussion about how these processes work, just so that you're more aware of what we're doing day to day.
Have there been a lot of undeliverables in this process, the repair process?
We have received some, less than 10
Less than 10,
in our office. And right now, we're just holding those because the state board hasn't directed us on what to do with those undeliverables.
Thank you.
Is there a time limit on this project, or it just goes on?
It's just going to go on until the voter either goes through the list maintenance process and gets removed from the rolls, or they vote and either supply the information or do a provisional and supply that information.
And if they voted provisional and the information is not correct,
You have to bring it in.
They have to bring it in, and if they don't, then the provisional would not be
well,
counted.
okay, all right. Is that-
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Has the state come back on our approved plan?
No, so I did reach out to them the other day because they've not sent an email as far as submitting the early voting plans, and I was told that that should be forthcoming soon. But they haven't given us the information to submit it to the state, but I do have all the information.
Well, isn't the
ready to go.
deadline pretty quick now?
December 5th was the
Yeah, I mean, that's
deadline.
Friday, or Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think maybe with the state board, because they're not filing in their office, I think they're filing at the fairgrounds. So I feel like maybe it's because they don't have a full office right now. I don't know. But they said we should be getting something soon.
Should we check on that tomorrow? mean,
I can send another email, yeah.
Oh, to make sure, because if the 5th's Thursday,
They may be waiting until after the deadline so that they have, like, they know that there's like 20 counties that don't, that they have to read.
but I thought the 5th was being submitted by.
Right, they'll be submitted, and then the ones that aren't unanimous, then they'll know, like, you know,
Yeah.
that they have X number of.
Yeah, the 5th is what we were directed to have it approved by the 5th.
Yeah.
But they haven't given us any other information as far as.
If you would check on that tomorrow,
I will.
because I'd hate to miss out, so.
Yeah.
Anything further? All right, there is now a requirement for the board to go into closed session. This closed session is held under provisions of GS 143.318.11, and matters to be discussed are provided by GS 143.318.11.6. So we will clear the room,
Can I get a
and this is
motion?
personnel.
I make a motion, we go into
Closed session. Second. All in favor, say aye.
So I can go now.
All right, we're back in open session. Our next scheduled meeting is January 6th at 6:30 PM. January 6th.
January 6th. Any further? Go ahead.
I can't print that calendar. Yeah, it was a mess.
Oh, yes, because, yeah, I can
Can you
fix
send us
it.
another one?
Yeah, it's just because I had so much information on there.
Yeah, I couldn't, I tried it.
Do we need to let the public know?
If we take action, we have to let them know, but we didn't take any action.
Didn't take any action.
As a result of the
Yeah.
session.
We were told.
We were informed.
You were informed.
Yeah, that's a better word.
Any other matters to come before the board?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second? Please
Somebody's
say-
hungry.
7:27, we are adjourned. Thank you.